Welcome, welcome to the training on virtual events. Many of us are going virtual these days. Many of us are shifting from doing live events to doing virtual events. Many of us, we can't speak live because of what's happening on the planet right now. As many of you guys know, we recently pivoted our big live event of over 700 women, and we took it virtual. And that virtual launch ended up being our single most successful virtual launch that we've ever had. Now, that being said, we did almost $1 million in sales. When our live event got canceled, I had no idea how the virtual event was going to go. I knew I had virtual event chops, but I was beyond disappointed. I was freaking out. I was terrified. I spent the weekend working and crying and hugging my friends because we didn't quite know yet that we weren't supposed to be hugging each other. So there's several things that you're going to want to know to be able to rock virtual events moving forward. So let me dive in and just get you guys some virtual event hacks. People are online like 8 to 10 times more than they even were 2 months ago. People are spending something like 60 to 80% more time online. And so now is the time to be doing virtual events. Now is the time. Whether it's a webinar, a masterclass, a live stream, like a 3-hour live stream where you have speakers and, your own training, and maybe you pull some student testimonials on. That being said, a Facebook challenge is also a version of a virtual event where you would go live and do a video training once a day, like 3 to 5 days in a row. I've had a lot of you guys write in and ask, what makes a Facebook challenge a Facebook challenge? And the answer is that a Facebook challenge is a challenge because of the games that you play, because of the experientification that you bring to that event. So it's a challenge because at the end of each training, you would give some kind of an action step. You would call people into some kind of a certain step that they would take. And that's one of the reasons why challenges are so effective, is because they're experiential. So when I'm talking about virtual events today, I'd like to narrow in on like a 1 or 2 or 3 day virtual event where you spend the better half of the day with a group of people virtually. I'd like to talk about that kind of a virtual event, but the methodology I'm about ready to teach you is relevant whether you're doing a live stream or a Facebook challenge or any other type of a virtual event. One of the reasons why I started talking about Facebook challenges is because the wisdom behind a Facebook challenge is to get people playing. It's to get people playing in the challenge. So if you're a parenting coach, during a Facebook challenge, you might have the moms and dads that you're working with post pictures of their family and then comment on each other's pictures. You might have the folks that are a part of your challenge sharing the most vulnerable moment they've ever had with their child, right? Or a time when their child triggered them to their worst behavior, right? And the reason why a Facebook challenge works so well is because people are sharing, they're sharing their humanness, they're sharing their vulnerableness, and they're doing it inside of a Facebook group. And like I said, the reason why I wanted to bring that into the conversation is that when you bring that methodology to a virtual event, your virtual event is going to go that much further. So you're going to rock your virtual event by bringing in some of the mindset and the experientification and the gamification that you see us doing here at Women Rocking Business. And so we really encourage you guys to do that with your virtual events. It's not just about getting on a Zoom like this and talking at people all day long. It's not about getting on the video camera and just filling people up with content and slides. We've got to honor several things with a virtual event. So write this down. Number 1, people need connection. So people are hungry for that sense of connection. They're hungry for that sense of connection right now more than ever before. And so your virtual event is going to go that much further than it would have before. And people are craving that sense of belonging. Brené Brown says that a sense of belonging is the biggest driver of human behavior. And so if you can create an event where people get to feel like a part of something, super powerful. So the number 1 tip that I have for you is to break up the learning, break up the content during a virtual event. If you're going a whole day with people, you may only have 2 or 3 content sections. There's something called the learning cycle. This would be good to take notes on. The learning cycle basically says that impression without expression leads to depression. So the learning cycle always includes a chance to teach, a chance for people to express, to interact, and to integrate. I'll say that one more time. You've got to teach, and then you've got to give people a chance to express something, express what they're learning, so that they're putting energy out toward the thing that they want to learn. They're going to remember what you're teaching that much more. That being said, the learning cycle could be something like you teaching a piece of content and then opening it up for Q&A. We also have been loving the breakout room function in Zoom. We've been loving the opportunity to put people in breakout rooms. We've been loving the opportunity to give people a chance to go into little groups of 3 or 4 and talk about what they're learning, brainstorm their video titles, brainstorm their what do you do statement. When you guys put your virtual events together, you're going to want to teach and then give people a chance to interact with the information. And then you're going to want to make sure that you give people a chance to also integrate by having something that they're filling out, something that they're interacting with. So one of the things that we recommend is we recommend that you create some kind of a workbook to accompany your virtual event, a workbook that people are filling in the blank or people are answering certain questions as they go through the virtual event with you. Because by the end of the virtual event, then people can have like a custom map. They can have created some piece of their business. It can be anything. All it takes is a little bit of planning to get to the front side of these virtual events. And you can change so many lives virtually. People don't have to get on a plane. People don't have to book a hotel room. And people can be together from all over the world, and they're going to love you for that. One of the last things that I want to share about virtual events is that you can't just take a live event and create a virtual event out of it. You can't just take the content that you would teach at a live event and just put it on top of a virtual event. It's so different when people are in the room, right? When people are live and in a room, you have time for discussions. You have time to slow down. You have time to really interact with information. When you're doing something virtually, you've got to keep it moving. You've got to go at a little faster pace. And people aren't going to be able to comfortably sit behind the camera and sit behind the computer for more than 5 or 6 hours a day. So write this down. Virtual events, like the timing that tends to be good is something like 10 to 3 or 11 to 4. And then you can take 1 or 2 breaks throughout the day. One of the reasons why our virtual events have been so successful is we've gamified the whole thing in the same way that we would gamify a Facebook challenge. So in a 3-day event, we might do 2 sessions a day. We don't teach more than 20 or 30 minutes of content within each session, but each session might be 90 minutes or even 2 hours long. So we'll do the teaching. We'll give people time to interact with the information by answering a question on Facebook or going into breakout rooms. I might bring in one of my clients to share a success story. I might bring in an expert to share some expert knowledge that is not necessarily my realm of expertise, right? A guest teacher, to break it up. And then at the end of each session, we always give our participants some kind of a fun action step. Now go make a 2-minute video. Now go post your what do you do statement as a sticker in Facebook. So each time they come into a session with us, they're wrapping up that session and they're taking an action step that actually makes a difference for them. So be brainstorming, and I'd be curious to hear from you guys. What are some action steps that you know you can have your participants take during a virtual event that would make a difference for them? There were a few great questions that came in about virtual events.
What came to mind is because of this pandemic, everybody has been online and they're sick of being online. So what spin can actually be used in order to get clients to want to be back online?
So it always comes down to your messaging. You know, we haven't seen a drop in our numbers. In fact, we've seen an increase in our numbers of people showing up for our events, even though everybody's online right now. And it's because of our message. It's because people want the information. Do you know what I mean? It's because people want to learn the things that we're teaching. So it's all about the positioning. It's all about the title of the virtual event, the title of the video. And you know, the thing is, at the end of the day, there's always a reason we can come up with that people won't show up or want to listen to us. There's always that reason. Somebody else is doing it better than I am. I've never taught this before. What if I fall on my face? What if I suck? Blah, 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 blah. And on like this, right? And so I just encourage you guys to make sure that you're asking questions that are empowering to you and not disempowering. And I say that with total love, Heather, because you're not the only one asking that question. In fact, other people were on the sisterhood group this morning talking about that very thing. Like, how am I going to get people's attention online if either everybody's online right now or everybody's sick of being online right now? And, you know, the answer is, let's ask a more empowering question. Like, what would be a question that would be more generative to you? Because right now, as we speak, you know, I have colleagues literally as we speak this month doing $1 million launches. We did one last month, you know, while this was going on. And we have clients literally this week, we have clients who are making $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 of revenue just in the last couple weeks using the tools we teach. So right now there's clients who are buying, there's mentors who are serving. And the only question is, do you want to be one of them, right? And looking at you, you seem like a highly competent, super smart, super friendly, safe person to be around. So yeah, what's a question that we can ask now then to help you feel like, oh yeah, I got this?
I actually don't have one.
Who are the people that you serve?
Divorced women who are needing relationship, dating advice and support before they walk back out the door and start connecting again physically.
So what would it take, universe, for me to find the women who are divorced and want to start dating again? Those are your women, right? They're divorced and they want to start dating again?
Yes.
That question, universe, how do I find those women who are divorced and want to start dating again, especially during a pandemic? Like, who's going to want to start dating during a pandemic? Well, guess what? There are people that do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have a client in our leverage training program who's a relationship coach who's been signing up clients during this time because those clients are like, I'm not going to put my entire romantic life on hold for however long this could be going on, because that could mean I'm waiting for even like 6 months or even another year just to start dating again, right? That doesn't feel good. So your services are needed now more than ever before. And so I would recommend getting out there and talking about what's it like to date during a quarantine. People are doing it.
It's a conversation starter.
It sure is, right? And that's the trick, is for every single one of you to think about what's the top marketing that's going to grab people's attention, even now, even when people might be quote unquote sick of being online, or even when everybody else is online. And how much fun could we have doing this? And how magnetic of titles could we come up with? And can you feel the energy of those questions?
Yes, the shift. So it was just the key words that I'm trying to remember, or that I plan on writing down, is the conversation starter. What are the many different type of conversation starters that would get intrigue?
Yes, those top marketing titles, because those are the ones that are attention grabbing.
Yes.
And then just in terms of setting ourselves up energetically for success, it's so common that we ask questions that kill the energy. Well, what am I supposed to do if everybody's sick of being online? Right? There's nowhere to go in the face of that question. I catch myself asking questions like that all the time. And I have to catch myself and be like, wait a second, I don't feel very energetic right now about my business. What's a different question, right? How much fun could I have today? What am I willing to do to find my clients today? Because I know they're out there and I want to help them.
The other question you can add on to that is, whose question is that anyway? Did that come from me?
That's so good. Because we tend to pick up other, like the stuff that's hanging out in the psychic field. It's not even ours. That's so smart. And the mind is built to answer questions. Have you ever noticed that? So if you ask the right question, you're almost setting up your mind for success, because the mind wants to answer it. So if you ask a question like, universe, how can I find more divorced clients who are looking to be dating again? And then you just get quiet. It's like, answers are going to come.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we've got your back every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And I'm really glad you were able to hop on today, Heather.
Thank you.
Victoria, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How can I help you today?
My questions are more about logistics. Like, do you find there is a better time to offer something online, like a particular night of the week or a weekend day or half day, full day?
That's a
What?
great question. So the answer is that it kind of depends on your niche because it depends on who's going to come. Like one of my clients supports parents, and she found that it's really hard to do things around the dinner hour, especially in her time zone. And a lot of parents have time during the day. So for me personally, as a business owner, I train women entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs can usually hop on an event in the middle of the day. They can usually take an hour off. So somewhere around lunchtime can work really well for me and for my tribe. And one of the things that I also invite you guys to think about is, who are you targeting? Like for us, we have a global audience. We have women in Europe and in Australia. We actually serve quite a few Australian women. So we've been trying to push things back to like noon or 1 sometimes, because that's like 5, 6 a.m. Australia time instead of 3 a.m. Australia time. So, it really comes down to your audience and who you serve. And what I would do if you don't know is I would do a little survey. Who do you serve, Victoria?
So for me, it's mostly women between like 35 and 55, and it's a self-empowerment field. I'm a Heal Your Life teacher.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, I think asking them, would you rather have something during the day or in the evenings? We also have a few less people show up on Saturday mornings, but when people show up on Saturday mornings, they oftentimes are in a psychic space where they're ready to take a next step. So we might have less people on a Saturday morning, but they're oftentimes buyers. They're interested in investing in something, and they're not in the middle of their busy work week. So energetically, they're a little bit more spacious, right? Because in order to be ready to invest in something, you can't be too bogged down, or else it's just hard to make that decision. So I do recommend, like when you guys do something that's multi-days, you give people some kind of like a Saturday option, because you can oftentimes, do really well when you make your offers on the weekend. So those are all my tips for you.
Great tip. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. And is there any other support I can give you, especially with your message? Tell me your message one more time.
So I am a Heal Your Life teacher, but the thing that I am really focusing on right now is conscious living. So really becoming aware of what it is we feel we deserve and moving forward into that. And so I've just finished 6 weeks, and now I'm on week 3 of a 4-week. But I'm thinking about adding another, and I'm just not sure what day to add it into, but I really want to work with this group, the new group, around deservability.
That's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see promo videos that you make just called, I don't deserve it.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Right? Just that top marketing. That's what you're looking for, that attention grabbing, right? I don't deserve it. I have to prove something, right? What if I feel like I have to prove something? That's probably something else that your women would say quite a bit of, right? I feel like I have to work hard for it, right? I haven't earned it, right? Things like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm super excited for you. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So nice to meet you, Victoria. All right, beautiful women. That concludes our training on virtual events for today. I hope you guys walked away with a couple of simple hacks that you can use to continue to grow your online tribe, make a difference in the lives of your clients, make a difference in the world. Because like I said, there are people out there right now who are signing up clients, serving clients, making a difference for clients, scaling their businesses, leveraging their businesses. And I would just as soon you be among them. I would just as soon you be one of them. I would just as soon that the people out there that are ready to hire conscious life guides, intuition guides, relationship guides, health mentors, business coaches, I would just as soon they hire you. And so I'm putting the stake in the ground. I'm putting my stake in the ground for you today to continue to get out there and shine your light with all that you've got, We love you and we bless you. And thank you so much for being the very best part of the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye. And if you got value from this episode, I invite you to hit the subscribe button so that we can get you weekly business trainings in your inbox to help you grow your impact and your income the women's way. Head over into the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood Facebook group and introduce yourself there, because women go so much further when we go together. Just click the button to subscribe and we will see you on the other side.